She woke up in this new land, this new area she didn't recognize. It felt magical. It felt powerful. She was just a little girl and everything towered all over her. She thought of like Jack and the Beanstalk and being around the giants with how powerful and huge everything else looked at around her. But instead of being scared, she was curious. She was interested. She wanted to know more. So she started walking. Each step felt like she was walking on air, like she was jumping from cloud to cloud. It felt so mystical, so magical. She liked this land. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And the feelings made her feel light and airy, powerful herself. See, she never really felt powerful. She always felt like she was lost in her skin, like nothing seemed to fit. But this, everything seemed to fit. Everything felt unique to her, as if she was just as unique as the surroundings around her. And as she walked through this magical place, from afar she saw a garden. It looked amazing from the distance. And she slowly walked to it. It was like she was called to it. It was like she guided. She just floated right to this garden. She doesn't even remember taking any steps. It was like she saw it from afar, and then all of a sudden, there she was. And she saw rows and rows of flowers. Beautiful roses and lilies and sunflowers and just all different kinds of flowers. And as she looked at this beautiful garden, tucked in between each of the pieces was what looked like was a weed. It didn't look like it belonged. It didn't look like it fit, but for some reason, it floated right in. For some reason, it mixed amongst the flowers and the beautifulness. It didn't fit, and it slowly felt like it was wrapping around the beautiful flowers, kind of taking it over, kind of trying to pull the flowers down to itself. But as she looked at it, she wasn't sure because it was just little within. She paid it no mind and she paid it no attention. It's just one weed, she thought. What big deal could that be? She never realized that when she let that go, when she disregarded that feeling, that thing that didn't make sense, that thing that felt like it pulled the other flowers down, as if it took them over, as if it became them instead of letting them be their own flower. It took their power. It took the power over, and the weed became the flower instead. It sounded weird to her. It looked weird to her. But again, she paid it no mind and didn't pay attention. She continued that on week after week, month after month, going to this beautiful, magical garden and looking at the weed that was at one time it was one, then it became two, then it became three, and soon she started to see just the weeds, no more about the flowers, because the flowers slowly started to die, and all that was left with the weeds, all that was left was this thing that encapsulated everything else. And as she sat back and looked at that, she realized that she was no longer that little girl filled with magic, that little girl filled with wonder. No, she became an adult. She became this adult that started to see her magic and wonder was slowly taken over by the trauma of the weeds, was slowly taken over by the negative she was told, was slowly taken over. So her garden that she tried to grow so beautifully, she allowed it to be taken over by the negativity. She allowed it to be taken over by the people who were toxic in her life. and they overpowered her and took her beauty away. As she realized that, she sat with that garden and decided, I want that original garden. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get the original one. But as she slowly started to take away and started to build, taking away the toxic traits that just didn't fit her anymore, taking away the toxic traits that just were never really hers to begin with. And she started to see her beauty, and she started to keep that beauty and let it grow again. She started to pull away that yuck and add that positivity that she had, the lessons that she learned from that. No more magical, no more just wonder, but concrete knowledge, concrete understanding, really getting what the logic was behind the lessons that she learned, behind the yuck. Because see, the yuck had a purpose, and she didn't see the yuck until the yuck overpowered. She didn't see the weeds until the weeds overpowered everything. But when it started small, it had a purpose to remind her that sometimes in our life, yuck will come in. We have to recognize it and see it and know that it isn't something we want to grow. It isn't something that we want to continue. So we slowly just pull it out and not let it grow. Not let it fester, not let it take over the beautiful traits that we have. Not let it fester the beautiful us. And that's what she learned in the garden. She learned that she did still have this beautiful garden. It just looked a little different because the trauma and the yuck in her life made her garden switch. No more in awe and a beauty of, oh, this could never be, but an understanding of what can really be if you let the negativity grow. And that's what she learned. And that's how she grew a new garden, knowing and understanding that yuck can come in at any time. And it's not about not allowing the yuck to come in. It's about recognizing when the yuck comes in that that isn't something she wants to grow. That isn't something she wants to continue. The yuck is to remind her that this can be. And people do sometimes fester in the yuck. And sometimes the yuck is needed to weed out what we don't want. The yuck is needed so we truly understand the difference between the positivity and the negativity. Because if we only had positivity, then we don't have logic. We don't have understanding. We have this woohoo world that just isn't based in reality either. And that's what she learned in her beautiful garden. Her garden that was her traits, the garden that was her beauty, her awe and her wonder that was lost from childhood as she transitioned into adulthood. And now as adulthood, she started to find it again and work on her garden to make herself, her beautiful traits, be hers again. And the negative traits that held her down for so long be the weeds that she pulls and gets away from her life. Sending love.